Good morning, chefs. And morning, everyone. I know it's been quite a lot of partying last night, I guess. And so we'll hope that a lot more people trickle in as the day progresses or as the session progresses. Um, Indian food has traveled from the streets to star restaurants, from brass thalis to glass domes. But as our cuisine evolves, are we elevating it or are we erasing its essence? That's the delicious dilemma we'll chew on today. We have a huge number of very star panelists here. They've already, maybe in their mind, they've taken a stand to be for or against this. But let's see how we'll be able to make sure or try to see if they change their opinions as well. So we have our culinary conservatives, people who are champions of tradition, authenticity, and the roots. And we have some innovators here who are pushing the boundaries of where Indian cuisine can go. So think of this less as a food fight and more as a food for thought. Yeah. Short bites, ideas, no long 13-course meals. So let's open it up with the audience first. If you guys had one word to describe Indian cuisine, how would you do that? Give me one word of your description for Indian cuisine today. How about you, sir? Traditions.
Traditions.
Okay. You, sir?
In fact, I'll say three later. It's wow.
Okay. None?
Looks messy, but it's delicious.
Messy and nice. That's the way you like it. Okay. How about you?
I'd say it's very wholesome in itself.
Wholesome. Okay. Others? Flavors. Lots of flavors. Okay.
It's soulful.
Sorry?
Soulful.
Oh, okay. That's different. Diversity. Excellent. Excellent. That's a very deep word there. And I think we'll come around to that as we discuss with the chefs there. So, chefs, let's start here. Is Indian cuisine evolving beautifully, or are we losing its in its translation as it's being done today? Chef Qader, let's start with you.
Good morning, everyone. I think Indian food has a lot of diversity, and we are not losing on anything. We are just progressing on that. And the way to go is, the changes is the only constant thing in the world, and which remains always the first. So we have to go by the without losing our identity and our base core fact of our Indian cuisine.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Mike?
Hi, everyone. See, Indian cuisine, first and foremost, is a very family-oriented cuisine. So for us to even think about reimagining it, you cannot take away the family from it. So even if you are plating it, Frenchified plating, we still have to come back to the basics that the taste, the flavor, the diversity has to be on the plate, and still don't forget the family.
Okay. Chef Anis, what do you think?
I think I am in for the progressive cuisine.
Uh-huh.
I believe that, even if you are plating it in a very different, altogether a different level, I want the flavor to be intact, and the soul of the dish should be there.
Right.
I think that is what is a winner.
So keep the soul and
Keep the soul, yeah.
modify the rest. Chef Rawool?
Hi, namaste. I feel that Indian cuisine is all about emotions.
Okay.
Although I always have supported and I will support innovation in terms of plating the dish because that is a need of the day.
Okay.
So it is our emotions which we have to express on the plate. That is what Indian
wonderful.
cuisine is all about nowadays.
Wonderful. Emotions on a plate. Wonderful. What a way to say it. Excellent. So let's dive deeper into this. Every cuisine evolves, of course, yeah? But evolution can feel like erosion too sometimes. Yeah. So where do we draw the line? Where do we draw the line between, giving homage to the cuisine, to the traditions, or being contrarian to where the cuisine is going? Ravi, is modern cuisine celebrating our heritage or compromising just to impress a global palate? What do you
No,
think?
it's definitely celebrating our heritage. I feel if we look at history, I was told when I love Rajma Chawal that Rajma as an ingredient isn't from India at all. I was told that biryani is our most popular dish across India, but the dish itself isn't from India at all. So I'm very happy to let Indian cuisine evolve over the centuries, because the life of a country and the life of a cuisine is over centuries, not just in one of our lifetimes. And it has evolved before us and will continue to evolve. So it will always be Indian and it will always be a celebration. Rajma, biryani, and all Indian food, whatever its avatar is in a couple of generations later, it'll still be Indian. Yeah.
Okay. Chef Suresh?
Indian food really, if you see all over the world, one thing is the tradition, and second thing is diversity, geographical, different kind of lot of ingredients, and recipes, the method of cooking. I think it's fantastic. So we have to be stick with our basic. We have to respect our food, Indian food, emotions. और जो भी हमारा जो आतिथ्य जो भी गेस्ट आता है तो किस तरह से हम लोग वेलकम करते हैं, क्या खाना बनाते हैं स्पेशली, और क्या उन लोग के लिए हम लोग कितना अच्छा एक वेलकम का साथ साथ जो खाने को खिलाते हैं, और वो खाना हमारे लिए इट गिव्स यू प्लेजर, अ फूड गिव्स अस प्लेजर, विदाउट फूड वी कांट सर्वाइव. तो जो इंडियन फूड है all over the world, I can say it. I have been associated with many
सबको impress करने के लिए अगर
globally I am coming for that.
How do we do it?
I am coming for that. That for me as a chef, please do a progressive modern cuisine. It's okay, innovation, creativity, everything. I am very fine with that. Please keep the taste, authenticity. Please keep the taste,
So
authenticity. Yeah, that is very very important. Sir, आप खाना खा लिया, जबरदस्त प्लेटिंग है, presentations है, वो है, ये है, बड़ा प्लेट, so many things. The moment you eat the food, बराबर नहीं है सर. Something. That is, it should not be happen. That is, we have to stick
Let's
with
ask
that.
Chef Pawaskar.
Thanks. Yeah.
So I'm still for very conservative mode, though I am from a younger generation, but I'm still for the conservative. It's the pure logic I would give is being a chef, but being a foodie. What we as a chef tells everyone that you start with eating your food with your eyes first.
Right.
But with me, it starts with in my mind.
So, but then you already made up your mind about what the cuisine is going to be, what you're going to taste. Is that what you're saying? Or can you allow the customer or the consumer to be open in their mind and say, maybe this is an adventurous journey, I'm going somewhere else with this?
So that is where the answer lies. So being a customer, when you go to a restaurant, and if it's a modern Indian cuisine restaurant, doing something with Indian cuisine, novelizing it in a way, but in your mind you are still very traditional.
Right.
So when you think of, so for example, you have talked about a butter chicken mousse yesterday.
Yes.
But when I'm coming to your restaurant, I'm thinking butter chicken in my own way. But when I'm being presenting, so the butter chicken mousse, I am still not completely satisfied with what butter chicken I had in my mind. For example, we just attended a chef's table a week back. So though we really like the innovation the chef has done, we really appreciate the innovation he has done, but after the meal, we were still looking to go out and eat something which will satisfy our soul. So that is where I think 80% we are still not there, 20% people are doing good work.
Okay.
And yes, there are 5% who are killing it also, killing it as in completely killing it, because the basics are not right. As Chef Anish said, you have to have that
Some basics.
The base clear. So for that you too. So you should know how to make a butter chicken, then to make a butter chicken mousse.
Let's hear Chef Dev. Chef Dev, we've seen tandoori chicken becoming a mousse, as he mentioned just now. We've seen Pani Puri becoming shots at some point of time. Is that sophistication or is that killing the product, killing the cuisine?
Yeah, good morning, everyone. This is Chef Dev. Actually, I belongs to the very heritage kind of city called Kolhapur. So I would rather prefer all the traditional food, whatever is there on the menu. The progression is important. The chefs are doing progressive effects on the plates. That is most important part for the today's generation. But thing is that if you consider Pani Puri, what chef said, it is already in my mind that Pani Puri has to be prepared by the person who is sitting on the street and he will have that kind of taste. But if you connect with the modern cuisine, that will not affect that much by the palate. So considering the today generation, maybe eye appeal and platings and everything, modernity, we should have think about the sustainability of food first, what ingredients we are getting on as a regional basis on in farms. But considering these things, after maybe few days, we will not get that kinds of ingredients. So it's better to stay with the traditional one with the proper manner, and then you can give some
So you
modernity
think
to the food.
you're going to lose the essence of the cuisine by transforming the way it is presented?
Transformation is important, but we should think about again the cultural things. Just because of the farming and the climate issues changing every day, we are not getting that kinds of ingredients what we need to have to maintain that particular taste. But thinking everything, progression is important, modernity is important, plating has to be there, but we should keep all the tradition in our mind because emotions are there. Our food belongs to the traditions and the emotions only. Thank you.
So, Chef Anish, I think you have a point. I'm going to add to something that he mentioned. And I know we are discussing Indian cuisine, but when you see, or when an Italian sees chicken tikka pizza, or we see an aloo tikki burger here, they might have different emotions around it, but it's so popular, no?
Absolutely agree. I think coming back to your question, I think heritage is definitely it's being taken care of. See, for decades and abroad, Indian cuisine was like heavy curries and naan. But then chefs these days are like just not cooking for the global palate. They are wanting the global palate to listen to us.
Right.
Modernity is a way of preserving our memories and our culture. It's not distorting in any other way. That is my take on this.
Ah, interesting. I have a question for you, Chef. Chef, do you feel that nostalgia and creativity can then coexist? Coming from what he said, it's all about emotion that brings back the nostalgia. Can they coexist or do they cancel each other out? Are they opposing forces?
Good morning, everyone. As everybody is debating on the butter chicken and all those stuff, see, if you are serving the butter chicken as a butter chicken,
yeah,
and the guest is happy, I don't think so there should be a problem. If you are putting as a component mousse, shouldn't be a problem. As long as the essence of the food is still remain on the plate and your guest is happy, I think, you need to think, 50 years back also there was a gulab jamun.
Yeah.
Now also there is a gulab jamun. Okay? But what is changed? The texture is changed, the taste is changed, right?
But a gulab jamun in ice cream or gulab jamun a cake.
The more modernized you go, you change, or rather you start working with the generation, what generation require. Okay? But the essence is still there. I don't think so there should be a problem.
Wonderful.
But
wonderful.
Another important thing is when we say, fusion, don't create the confusion for the guest. That is what it is. As long as you are putting your food in a right manner, the clear form, I think
then it's there.
It's a win-win situation for both.
You. Let me go to the audience. Audience, show of hands. How many think that innovation is a true form of authenticity? That it should innovate to preserve the authenticity of the cuisine. How many feel that? Okay, a few. Which dish do you not want to see deconstructed? Something from your childhood, something that you closely remember. What do you not want to see deconstructed? What is that one dish?
That would be a biryani for me.
Never deconstructed?
No.
Okay. Chef, for you? Butter chicken
And tandoori chicken.
and tandoori chicken.
I
You don't want to
butter
see it
chicken with
deconstructed.
microgreens.
Okay. Let's go at the back there.
Dal khichdi.
Dal khichdi. Okay.
I'm here from Chennai, so my choice is rasam rice.
Too traditional, too much emotion there. Even Ther Sadam, I would say.
Dal chawal.
Dal chawal. So dal chawal, biryani, and tandoori chicken. Dosa.
Aloo
Okay.
paratha.
Aloo paratha. Don't touch it. This is what the audience is saying.
I think all are deconstructed anyhow.
Yeah?
Dal
It's there?
bati.
It's there. Okay, interesting. Thank you. Thank you. That really sets the context for our next segment. And our next segment is about plating versus the palate. How does the consumer experience this? Let's see it from their point of view. So modern Indian food looks like art, right? Does it taste like home? Can we combine that? And I'll take from where you left off your point last and go to Chef Mike. Does it taste like home?
In many ways, it does taste like home.
Uh-huh.
It's just a question, like I've been doing food styling for about almost 3 decades now. And when you start putting all the gravy over all the meat and hiding all the meat, it doesn't show the beauty of Indian food. It's how we play. We've got so many vegetables to play with, more than continental cuisine.
Mhm.
We just don't play with it.
Much more ingredients.
And we've got so much color in our food. And yet, everything still looks brown, brown, brown. Our chefs need to be a little bit more adventurous because I've been playing with colors with Indian food almost 3 decades. And Indian food can look beautiful.
Chef Qader, आप क्या बोलते हैं? Can plating, can the display take away from the emotion of the food?
Not really. If you have your bases right and your basic taste, which has to be the original one, if you put that on the plate, and of course you enhance that with your plating and all your garnishing colors, as Chef Michael has mentioned, I think you're going to win it. I think there is no reason that people should not accept that thing.
Okay.
Of course, the people are well traveled and they know and they accept for many. I mean, many percentages, a very huge percentage which can accept all your modern platings and things like that. If you have your base, which is the taste and on the originality of your product. Thank you.
Pawaskar? Sorry, Vijayendra.
So I'll have a different take on this. So when you say plating, it always comes in our mind that there is a porcelain plate, there is a garnishes happening and all
Yes,
those things.
yes.
But let's go way back. So what we had in our food, like Maharashtrian thali or a Kerala Sadhya thali, it had 21, 25 ingredients, but plated so well at some corrected measures or some corrected places with some reasons behind it. For me, that is plating still now. But it used to satisfy your souls as well. It used to complete, you used to feel that after having those meals, you used to feel complete. Yes, plating plays an important role, but it has to satisfy your soul. It has to make you feel that you've had something. Right now, we are way away from that plating techniques whereby we are just focusing that you eat with your eyes only with those plating, but your soul is not getting satisfied. So I'm still on the 80 side of the conservative part. I will still go with those part, but yes, we have done platings long back.
Sure. Chef Amol, does this make it look progressive if we start doing that in a different way, not in the traditional thali way, but more progressive way? Does that make it look progressive or does it make look confused to people to understand what Indian food is?
Sir, I feel...
Where does it start?
Yeah, I think it is all depend on the guest who is having that food, or it is depend on our clientele. Because as we said that we have been seeing from many years that whenever we ask for butter chicken in the restaurant, we get butter chicken in the bowl.
Yep.
Yeah, because this is how it has been served from many years. But nowadays, as the style of service has been changed, innovations have come into contacts. So we started serving pani puri shots. And you never know, after 10, 15 years, the people, those who are having, the young generation, those who are having pani puri shots, after 10, 15 years, they will feel that this is the authentic way of serving pani puri. Because we have been told that pani puri has to be have in the bowl, we'll be getting pani in the bowl and puri is on separate side. So I don't think so this plating innovation will make any changes in terms of progressive cuisine. Yes, it will look progressive, but it will never affect on the authenticity of the food. Because at the end, taste matter.
Okay. Chef Shetty, do you कुछ add करना है उसके लिए? आप क्या बोलते हैं?
Good morning, everyone. Use modern culinary techniques to create innovative the dish, authentic, and finally the great experience of the guest. Innovation जरूरी है sir, changes जरूरी है. We need to be not like that. We just behind. We need to be go ahead, of course. In new generations, yeah, the plating wise. But for me, don't forget the authenticity. This is a chef's skill. How you going to do it? That's the skill. That is the skill actually.
Right.
वो कैसा करना है करके. Presentation 100% चाहिए. I was a Godman chef. So 100% presentation चाहिए.
And you are more.
I agree for that. Strongly
for
agree for
presentation,
that.
definitely.
For presentation. And वो जो खाएगा ये क्या चीज़ है भाई? Something. No. Should not be confused.
You made a good point there, and I'm going to ask Ravi. Ravi,
thank you.
He touched upon the audience. He touched upon the consumer. So you think that the Indian diners themselves are demanding the shift, or is it that the chefs are shaping what the audience wants?
I think we have to be very clear on who we are cooking for. If I'm cooking for myself, I might make a dish very differently from what I'm cooking for my guest. If my guest is a Gen Z who wants pani puri shots, then I will bow to that because there's a commercial agenda attached to it, and we are all in the profession of, we are all in this profession. But if I'm having it for myself, maybe I want that traditional stuff. And when I hear this word authenticity, I ask myself and all of us, what is authenticity? I grew up in Mumbai, having sambar tasting a certain way because of the influences of the Udupi restaurants, what we call Udupi restaurants in Mumbai, making sambar with a certain taste. I also lived in Mysore for a couple of years of my childhood. So I tasted that sambar, though it was supposed to be from Karnataka itself.
Right.
You're not even talking about the difference between the taste of authentic sambar from Karnataka versus Tamil Nadu. I'm talking about the journey from what I had in Mysore, what is authentic, and what it's come through the Indian palate, influenced by local Mumbaikars in Mumbai. What is authentic sambar? So if we hold on to a certain taste which we remember, obviously you know, who cooks the best dhansak? My mother. And for all of you, who cooks the best dish? It's your mother's or what you grew up eating. Because that nostalgia and that memory is attached to your emotion. So you hold on to that taste and look for that taste in every restaurant that you go for. If I have another home making dhansak, I will say it's not as good as my mother's, even though for them that is authentic. So if I hold on to that, I will never be satisfied with the taste. I will never deem it as authentic. And as a consumer, I will remain frustrated. So I have to anchor myself in what the consumer wants. And if I am the consumer, it's a different taste. If my guest at a restaurant is a consumer, that's a different taste. So I'm delivering for two different expectations.
Chef, you have some global customers. What do you think? Does global
as Ravi mentioned
appeal require that?
As Ravi mentioned that you need to see which your clientele is. That is very important, how you are serving. Like if you give me an option to have Malwani food, okay, and I am doing that Malwani food in somewhere, not in Bandra, okay, then I will go with the authentic food plate, which is having a bhakri, kalwan and all those stuff. But when I'm doing it for the new generation and trying to go with the modernized, that bhakri can be a constructive bhakri, which I make a paste and then I can dry it up in the oven, and that serve that bhakri as a crisp.
Okay.
Okay. So I am trying to justify that food to my client. That is very important. Yet keeping that same flavors, keeping that same components in a different way. So I don't think so there should be any problem.
I think
as long as you are putting that food in the right manner.
But we are looking at two different sets of customers. One is the age groups, which are different, and two, the Indians versus global. Now, when we want to take this global, and for example, in your hotel, you have Dampukt, you have Peshawari, you have Dakshin, very traditional, and they still are very, very traditional restaurants.
Yeah, why they are still traditional restaurant? Because they have not done any modernization in their food. That's why the people are coming back to have that authenticity.
But do you get younger people coming there?
Yes,
Would
and they like to. They like to.
There is one thing I would like to add an angle to what question you asked, Ravi, is that what customers are looking for. So I think when it comes to commercial hotels, what customer is asking, you need to give that. But when it comes to a restaurant driven by a chef who is a founder, who is a owner, he will take that decision onus on his firm, on his own, saying that I want to serve this particular food in this way, and I will serve it in this way, no matter what my customer is looking for. So he has to agree on his ideas first and then start serving the same way. Whereby in the hotel, the chefs has to agree to a customer, even if it's a weird thought, like falafel mein pani puri ka pani chahiye, he has to agree and do it, no matter how different it may sound, but they have to agree upon.
That's a different take.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask Chef Dave very briefly, and then we go to the audience for their reaction to this.
Actually, I would like to stay at 50-50. There are some chefs who are considering that some kinds of, to become a famous one, they consider social media also.
Okay.
And there are some chefs considering the traditions.
Okay.
So the thing is that why the chefs are necessary to do the changes as per the public, because there is a media considering different kinds of videos, different kinds of things, doing extra this and that, and for the sake of being famous into the restaurant, they are using anything, whatever the people likes, and forcing food to have the different kinds of taste by using anything inside. Plating is important, but we should maintain the tradition also.
You're still saying that
So
it should
there are
not
some
go
chefs are
cross,
maintaining
this thing.
traditions. They are not listening to the media. They are not listening to the videos, graphics, and everything. The influencer, what they are putting the videos on the media. But there are some chefs need to have the change because of the business. So that is what actually I used to stand between these two, 50-50. It is where we required some things, we should go for it, or where we require tradition, we should go for tradition only.
Okay. Before we come back to a new set of questions, let me ask the audience. Have you tasted a dish that looked stunning but didn't taste to your expectations? Ma'am.
Hello, everyone. A proud member of Gen Z here. So, when I go to a restaurant, I'll go once. If it's plated very fancily, I'm like, wow, it looks beautiful. But when I eat it, I'm confused. What is it trying to be? And then I would never end up going back to that restaurant. Because for us Gen Zs, most of it, I think around 50 to 60% of us don't go to a restaurant for the way the dish is plated, but actually to see how the food tastes. That is one take, and there's a narrative right now that Gen Zs are losing touch with their roots. It's so forced upon us at homes that, you need to try the authentic stuff. You need to see how it is done. You can't have avocado pani puri. You need to have the original pudina wala pani puri. So when this narrative is going on around at home, we are struggling to find what actually is authentic. As you've mentioned that my mom made it a certain way, so it is authentic. But from all of our point of views, we've been influenced by social media so much. Now, even our media, our Instagram reels are also saying that this
Perfect.
is what authentic is.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you for your remarks. Who else would like to go? What's that one modern Indian dish that you ate that never tasted so good? A specific time. Also bad. Well, we want to be a little. Did you ever end up a nice, beautiful looking dish and it didn't match up to your expectations?
I think not to mention an Indian dish, but what couple of years back, kapsa rice, which is very normal. So I have been in the Middle East, and we've had the authentic kapsa, and it is very different to what people in India have been serving. So the authentic kapsa is basically a very fragrant rice with a lot of juice attached. So I think that was something which is very disappointing, which I found.
Okay.
And they've given a Chinese taste. That is one dish I'd like to talk about. Thank you.
Thanks. So, show off. Yes, ma'am.
I don't think that taste can be compromised, whether the dish looks fancy or not. Like as a millennial kid, if I want to taste the roadside pani puri stall, I'll spend 50 rupees and the taste should be the best, whether it's 50 rupees or 500. If I'm going to a fancy restaurant and they have mentioned it's a pani puri shot, I would like to experience pani puri given in a shot, but taste doesn't compromise whether it's fancy or not. So
You came across a pani puri in a restaurant which looked beautiful, but
and tasted good as well. So
no
yeah.
punch. And tasted well.
Yeah.
So it's
I
possible.
think it's all about the experience.
You're saying it's possible.
Shouldn't be compromised, whether
Okay.
it's fancy or not.
So overall, sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry to raise my hand late. One thing that experience, as you asked, any single dish that can change my mind. There are n number of dishes. I cannot take the names also. I've experienced a lot of Indian also, Italian also. One thing that Chef Ravi also mentioned, what I cook for myself will be a total different thing. That is my base. And what I'll get somewhere else will be somebody else's emotion will be coming on my plate. This is what as a consumer I feel. As he also mentioned, Chef also mentioned about the UDP restaurants. So one basic thing, that chef, he is making in his own style. If I go in any 5-star property and ask for a sambar, I will not match the taste what 5-star property is giving and an ODP is giving me. And also, one thing, Pani Puri shots which is going on our topic. One take on me is, even a consumers are looking for accessibilities.
Right.
We do not want a lot of messy things happening around. And a middle way of solution for a problem, not having an extra manpower standing behind a bar, okay, getting them more accessible and look like a fancy also. The salt and a pani puri came in the picture.
Sure.
So the innovation also took place like that.
So, show of hands. How many think that today presentation has started to overpower taste? Few? Quite a few. Quite a few. Quite a few here think that presentation is overpowering taste. Okay, let's go to the third section today. The third section is all about the future of the Indian plate. Where are we going 10 years, 20 years, 30 years from here? Where do we vision that this cuisine is going to go? So what should the next decade, couple of decades represent? Let me start with Chef Mike then.
Oh gosh.
So
Okay.
will the future be more regional, focused, micro in areas, or will it be more global, general? What do you
I think we're going to go into a very regional space right now, one, and taking that regional space to a global audience. Two, which Chef had mentioned earlier, is a word which we've all forgotten to mention, is technique. Our chefs have forgotten technique and forgotten to improvise on technique.
Right.
Because with technique comes the taste. And the third thing, which I was having a chat with Roshan earlier, is a lot of our dishes are getting forgotten because of this modernization. Go to a restaurant today, you won't even get a guy who can make a rumali roti. why certain dishes, they've forgotten the technique of making a rumali. A lot of our dishes are going to disappear because of this reimagined cuisine that's going to happen. It will happen. But I fear that some of our best dishes will also disappear.
Chef Anish, what do you think?
I think regional cuisine with innovation is going to stay for a long time. I'll give a small example of my own son. I was talking to you. Zen Z and Zen Alpha. I've got both of them at home. Both of them don't want to eat at home. So once I took them to a popular place in Bandra. They had a 8-course Indian modern food. And they were like zapped. Like, Papa, what is this? I said, this is India, you know, given on a different plate with a modern plating. And then they could experience a lot of flavors. And they were saying, ye kya hai? I haven't heard about this. I haven't tasted about this. So that was an eye-opener. And I think, as Mr. Ravi said, you know, we also have to think about our financials as well. You know, yes, agree that, you know, we have to be traditional, but then tradition with innovation and proper techniques.
So it's more appealing to make it more appealing to a different audience.
Absolutely. I think the future should, our cuisine should talk about stories.
But we're talking about, so while this is going on, does the story have to relate with tradition, with regionalism, with so much of rich cuisine that India has to offer, which is still getting unpacked? I don't think it's been unpacked so much even till now. We still talk about 4 or 5, 6 major cuisines in India, but we have hundreds of varieties of cuisine.
I think our plate should talk about stories. Our plate should relate to memories. Our plate should relate to regions and ingredients. And that is how I think we will be able to preserve our tradition along with modernization.
That's nice. Ravi, then what role should chefs play? Should they be cultural custodians of the cuisine, or should they be creative disruptors of bringing this out in a newer, younger form for a newer audience? What role should chefs play?
I think a couple of things. One is chefs should understand time frames. If we look at chefs sitting here today or the next 2 or 3 generations of chefs, we have a perspective of cuisine evolving over 100 years and what will Indian food look like over the next 1,000 years. So let's first get real about, we're talking about Indian cuisine, the evolution from today for the next 100 years, because we may not have perspective over the next 1,000 years. So why that is important is because we are trying to project into the future and there's a limit up to which we can project. So today, for example, regional Indian cuisine, I see, yes, as going forward, and we are the custodians of that regional Indian cuisine in different avatars and different styles of presentation, as some of our fellow chefs have highlighted. And we are the guardians of that, you know, for our goal for the next 2 or 3 generations, and we will hand over the baton to the next 2 or 3 generations. But who is to say what will happen after the next couple of 100 years? So time frame, I think, is important. And when we look back at cuisines and we say, yes, for example, rumari roti, maybe you know, no one can make it. But I look at that as an opportunity. In this generation of chefs today, we are uncovering many forgotten dishes. So maybe 20 years down the line, 50 years down the line, they will uncover rumali roti and say, oh, wow, we discovered this which was forgotten. So it will constantly keep happening. Dishes will be forgotten because it's very tedious. And we have to see to what extent we can be the custodians of that.
Just want to add, I'm sorry, I'm cutting you
Yes,
short.
yes.
So I go to a lot of colleges and my own nephews are in IHM Chennai. So when we studied hotel management, all of us wanted to be continental chefs. Of course, I'm a pastry chef now. I didn't want to be. But now what I see is kids want to get into modern Indian cuisine. And they are, you know, going deep into the studies. You know, they are asking me questions when I say that, let me just think about it, because I want to Google myself. Right. Because I don't know a lot of stuff. And I come from a place like Odisha, and then there are so many dishes and food habits which no one knows about it. Bengali cuisine have been marketed well, but then Odisha cuisine, rich heritage, beautiful food. I think something like a chena poda, the only baked cheesecake of India. If it goes to New York, that's like great for me. Kher Sangri from Rajasthan. If it goes to Paris, I think that'll be a winner for me.
I think the modern cuisine will be stay longer period just because of unless and until the manufacturers of the utensils or maybe the things what we use to cook the food that is not normally get into the market nowadays just called tawa. The dhunka comes from the next step of preparing bakari. The tawa used to remain hot and the housewife used to put something into the tawa on the same hot tawa and they prepare dhunka. But now, if you go to the market, you will not have that kinds of original tawa or maybe kind of equipments what we are getting now from the bigger companies.
So what role should chefs play here?
So just because of the equipments what you are not getting into the market, the chef cannot prepare the traditional one food. So considering the latest trends and techniques, the chefs, even though he wants to keep the tradition one, he cannot keep just because of the things we are not getting into the market. So the modern cuisine will be stay longer period just because of the modernity, every day becoming on the higher level and the traditional equipments we are losing somewhere. So modernity will be stay forever, I think. Till that nobody will start preparing the original equipments. That's it.
Okay. Let's ask, what's that one sacred element of the Indian cuisine that should never be tampered with? Something that should never be tampered with. Yeah, Vivek.
Of course, the flavor. That shouldn't go anywhere.
The total flavor of the
that
dish
should be
okay.
there.
Chef Mike, what do you say?
I just wanted to add something on the previous conversation. Like we need to see what kind of experience will stay for a longer. The eye experience or the palate experience. The eye experience will go away. The palate experience will stay. And that is why, as you were asking me, why the Peshawari and Dampugs are making a good business because they have not gone in the eye experience. They are gone in the palate
the
experience.
Taste, the palate should remain the same.
So that will stay for a longer.
That's good.
And forever.
Chef Mike, what do you say? What should
I
be
totally agree with Chef. The flavor should not change.
the flavor?
And the plating has to change.
Do you have a different view? Something
No, I
different?
have the similar view, but the only thing we need to see, if we are talking 20 years ahead, what we need to create with our food is the convenience, keeping the taste intact. So for example, if someone asks me what would be a right example to it, so if it's a patrani machi, the chutney that we make for a patrani machi, if just consider it to be a freeze-dried 10-gram cube, which you add just 20 grams of water and you get a right amount of patrani machi marination ready for you, and it is tasting exactly how your mother used to cook or anyone's mother used to cook, and you can immediately connect to a nostalgia with that. I think if we are able to create those conveniences with the flavors that we have, I think 20 years down the line, Indian cuisine would be leading all the cuisines across global.
So instead of a traditional coconut flavored chutney, if it was a kind of a tartar based but coconut in it or something like that, do you think it would enhance the dish?
Again, that will not connect to the person who's eating it.
Who's eating it?
Yes.
Okay.
I think when you have to connect, you need to
So
connect.
you're saying authenticity. Keep the authenticity alive.
Even
Said
for
taste, you said authenticity.
Even for a matter, you see peri-peri seasonings is going across everywhere.
Yep.
It has been used widely.
It's chili powder.
But right now with one of the manufacturer, what I'm trying to correct or get it right is a Guntur chili seasoning.
Yes.
Which is even better than what peri-peri is all about. But it is
Correct.
the globalization and the market push that has been happening.
Correct.
So that is why I'm trying to tell you that, if we are able to create that convenience, never had someone had a Guntur chili seasonings available with anyone. If we are able to create that market, even if we are able to push that market and push the right ingredients with the right flavor and the right impact on the food.
Quickly, Chef Dev, aap kya bolte hai? What is that one thing that should never be changed?
It is for certain dishes we should have to maintain that same cooking techniques what we need to adjust like butter like tandoori chicken we need to maintain it on the charcoal preparations only or maybe the
But
junka
smoked
what we
salmon ki
prepare
tarah
has
usko
to become
banaye to?
sorry
If we make it like smoked salmon?
That is also do, but if you need to keep the tradition one, then there are some smoky flavored recipes or
Right.
smoky flavored things we need to maintain as it is,
As it is.
we
So
preparing
authenticity
from the
again.
ancient time.
Authenticity again. Chef Anish, what do you think?
I think balance of flavors.
Balance of flavors
So
should
we need to
remain the same.
follow the philosophy of rasa. Sweet, spicy, sour. Uh, these are our culinary DNA. I think these should be intact.
They should be
We can play around everywhere, but then this is something which
This is the base.
I am like core.
Chef Rawool?
So I feel the process should never get compromised. The Indian food is all about patience. So there are certain dishes which actually require a lot of time.
Excellent.
It's really need
Excellent.
patience,
So,
but
patience of the product.
yes,
in making the product.
because
you
now
can't speed up the process.
because for the convenience, chefs are everywhere. We started using ready-made paste, ready-made gravies, ODM masalas. So somewhere I'm not against it. That yes, we should use ready-made product, but we should never compromise the
On the
process.
time, this thing. Chef Dev?
As long as my 4 decades of culinary journey, for me, sir, taste and safe food to be eat. Food should be safe. And what
Safety.
safe food to eat. Safety.
You were telling me about sustainability at one point
Yes,
of time.
of
you
course.
Think,
See,
you think
yeah,
that
yeah,
the
yeah,
sourcing
yeah.
of the product should not change because it also is that earlier the cuisine, the Indian cuisine was sourcing from very nearby.
Right.
Today we started sourcing from everywhere.
Local ingredients, for me as a chef, as a human being, don't waste anything. Yeah, use it up. Okay, don't waste. Millions of people, they don't get food and all. Don't waste the food.
Sure.
You
Every
energy,
part of everything
waste
was used
water.
in Indian cuisine,
Yeah,
right?
don't use,
Today-
don't waste. Maybe you go for a big presentation, whatever. Still keep in your mind, I don't want to waste any food over
Great,
here.
great.
Yeah.
Good point.
That patience, sir. पेशेंस के बारे में मैं बताऊंगा, एक हेल्थ के बारे में बताऊंगा. हेल्थ इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. अगर हमारा हेल्थ में कुछ ये प्रेजेंटेशन फ्यूजन और ट्रेडिशनल वट एवर इज देयर, आई एग्री फॉर दैट. लेकिन खाना क्लीन नीट वही तरह से खाने को बनाना है, क्योंकि इट गोज फॉर द हेल्थ, ह्यूमन हेल्थ. हेल्थ से बढ़कर खाना नहीं है. तो अपने को ये जरूरी होना चाहिए कि हाइजीन गाइडलाइंस को, मिनिमम हाइजीन गाइडलाइंस को फॉलो करना है.
Thank you.
अच्छा, thanks.
Final word for Ravi. What do you think? What should that one element be that should never change? And then we'll go to the audience to ask them.
So I'll lead up to that. Why I think that element is, for me, the greatest element, without which Indian food will not be Indian food. Every food that we cook, regardless of which cuisine it is based on the 5 senses that we are trying to give people that experience through 5 senses. For me, it doesn't so much matter if we taste the texture. There's a way to still be Indian. If we change the appearance, it will still be Indian. But flavor, which is a sum of taste and fragrance, that is the essence. That if you smell blindfolded, if you smell a certain food, you know it's Indian. Or if you taste a certain food, it's known it's Indian. And how do you achieve that flavor? There's one thing, and that's Indian spices. Without Indian spices, you cannot achieve Indian flavor. Whatever you taste and whatever you do. And therefore, for me, Indian spices is the holy grail of flavor.
Sourcing. Wonderful. So we've heard a number of things that should not be changed. That one element as the cuisine evolves. What do you think? What is that one? And one sentence, one word. What is that one thing that should never be changed in the Indian cuisine as it evolves? Yes, sir.
Indian food is a legacy. So local palate should never be changed.
Okay, so make it authentic as it was locally.
Yes.
Ma'am.
The flavors, definitely, but I'd like to make just one statement. In today's time, presentation is kind of attraction. When your food is presented well, it attracts. But I think when the taste is good, you'll earn loyalty. People will always come back for that.
Okay. Yes, sir.
इंडियन फूड उसके बारे में हम लोग बोल रहे हैं, तो खाना तो सारे शेफ बनाते हैं, घर पे भी बनता है, हमारी माँ बनाती है, बहनें बनाती है। तो खाना सिर्फ खाना नहीं है, फ्लेवर्स है, मेहनत भी बहुत लगती है, जैसे पेशेंस शेफ्स ने बोला कि
तो क्या
पेशेंस
नहीं
लगता
चेंज
है।
होना चाहिए? जैसे
चेंज
ये
नहीं
change
होना चाहिए, एक ही चीज़
हाँ।
कि आज की तारीख में बिकॉज ऑफ मॉडर्नाइजेशन एंड
Okay.
डिजिटलाइजेशन
Okay.
पीपल आर रनिंग टू मेक अ ब्रांड।
Okay.
और ब्रांड बनाने के चक्कर में लोग भूल रहे हैं कि ये खाना नहीं, ये प्यार है।
Okay.
और ये खाने में प्यार जो हमारी माँ घर के किचन में जिस डेडिकेशन से ये करती है, सेम शेफ्स, तो वही प्यार
वो तो
कायम
मैं
रहना
बोलूंगा।
चाहिए, वही चीज़ें है बस।
बिकॉज चाहे पैसे के लिए काम करे, लेकिन शेफ्स इसके लिए पूरी जिंदगी अपना डेडिकेट कर रहे हैं क्योंकि प्यार करते हैं खाने से।
Exactly,
है
exactly,
ना?
exactly,
तो वो तो
exactly,
डालते ही हैं,
exactly.
बिल्कुल। Right,
So
chef?
innovation should be with responsibility.
Yeah.
That is the only thing.
Wonderful, wonderful. Anybody else? What is the one thing that should not change? Yes, sir.
Hi. For me, I think food is emotion. What somebody has just said, and if you're keeping that emotion intact in your food, it is obviously coming from your hand to directly to the heart of the person who is consuming in.
Right.
So I would say that emotion, that food emotion, should be maintained. It should not change.
Wonderful,
Thanks.
wonderful. If you had to pick one regional cuisine from all of India, Kashmiri to Tamil Nadu to Assamese, Meghalaya cuisine, Rajasthani, everywhere else. Yeah, I think we have hundreds of cuisines in India. What is the one cuisine you think you will see on the global platform soon, in the future? Something which has not got, well, tandoori has always got recognition, biryanis have got recognition. So what is that one cuisine which is of the future, which you'll see on a global platform? Yes, sir.
I think you mentioned Kashmiri. So Kashmiri probably has been not as well, highlighted across India. So
Do you think Kashmiri would be the next star of
Could
the
be.
global platform? Yes, ma'am.
I'm making a very wild guess, but I have some reason for it, and I think it's Gujarati. And my reason for that is, if you look at international platters and their palates and the way they interact with our flavors and our spices and all, it's too much for them, right? I mean, apart from maybe some tropical countries which are very similar to India, which have very similar tastes like India, if you go
Yeah.
to the major countries, they have a very neutral palate, a very
Milder, more
the milder
flavorful.
flavors and the milder palates, and the spice levels have to be much more, down. And so I think over there, the kind of the cuisine that Gujarati food basically brings onto the table, and then the differentiation of that 100% vegetarian, like pure vegetarian food, a very different sort of a thing. You take very different kind of ingredients and make something very lovely out of it. That I think for them is an innovation.
Absolutely. I
And
think using spices here is different.
Correct.
In everywhere else, most of the places on the global platform, the natural taste of the meat, the natural taste of the vegetable comes out much more, and that's a good one. Thank you. That's a great point.
Thank you,
That's
thank
a
you.
great point.
करंट सिनारियो में जो क्विजिन हर जगह पे सर्व हो रहा है, तो मेरा ये मानना है थोड़ा अलग हो सकता है कि कोई एक स्टेट यहाँ पे डोमिनेट नहीं करने वाला है, जो ट्रेंड चल रहे हैं.
Okay.
So it will be a mixed kind of cuisine. Reason why? People are traveling to anywhere. और पहले ये होता था कि flavors belong to एक particular regional ये रहते थे. अभी ऐसा नहीं है, हर कोई हर एक नया cuisine try कर रहा है.
So आप बोल रहे हो कि Flavors of India restaurant which will have
Exactly.
20 different
Exactly.
dishes
Exactly.
from around
Because
India.
when we say खाना emotion है, और there are lot of reasons, lot of festivals हमारे इतने सारे हैं, और जो आज की तारीख में जो बिजनेस बढ़ते जा रहा है फूड इंडस्ट्री में, तो लोग people want to try something new.
Correct. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. So we've talked about heritage, we've talked about innovation, we've talked about plating, we've talked about the palate. At the end of the day, I think Indian food is as layered as a great biryani. It's got so many layers in it that it's difficult to unpack all of it at one time. So I'm going to have a rapid fire for you in one sentence. What's your recipe for keeping Indian cuisine timeless and timely for today's time, but also for the future? One sentence.
Education to the next generation.
Education for the next generation. Excellent.
Mastering the culinary techniques.
Okay, don't lose sight of the techniques. Chef Qader?
Understanding the flavors and the authenticity of our product and teaching our next gen to
That will
preserve it.
always remain there. Sir?
I think convenience with authenticity. I think people need convenience. No one has kitchens right now. So I think if you are creating convenience, I think we'll have the way forward.
So keep it easy because of the lifestyles that we are leading.
Yes.
It should be convenient.
But again, the authenticity has to be maintained.
And keep that.
Thinking about sustainability and the food where we are getting every day, that has to be proper. And what we are losing it just because of the modernity, that we need to keep it maintained in farms. So that is sustainability is important to keep in mind all the time.
Perfect. Perfect. Chef Anish?
I think talking about all the regional cuisines of India, that is very, very important for the next gen.
So unpacking the regionalism,
Absolutely,
unpacking
sir.
those
Absolutely.
things.
I think stick to the basic, and we should never forget the passion, what we have come here, for what we have come here, and at the end, the love for the food and respect for the food. That should never be get changed.
Love for the food. Chef
Skill and technique. Skill
and
and technique.
Okay, that should not change. Ravi?
Let the next generation decide what the balance should be between Indianness and evolution of Indianness. That will be the new Indian. And they will decide that, not us.
That's a great segue into a question for you guys. Is authenticity possible with a land of 1,000 cuisines? Yes, ma'am. There, at the back.
Actually, that was a question I wanted to pose the chefs, right? Because I have seen a lot of people, they are talking about authenticity and
Right.
authentic flavors and the nostalgia factor. And I very, very strongly associate with it. I mean, I understand that part, that we want to keep it alive. But one of the chefs has actually brought in a very beautiful point that 20 years down the line, we need to think from the point of view of convenience. Because the way the family units are moving, the way people are moving, the way the cooking habits are moving, no one has so much of time. No one wants to have that much of patience. Maybe the hoteliers and the chefs will, but maybe even they will evolve, right? Who knows?
Wonderful.
So, my point is that yes, we want to go towards convenience. Yes, we want to, still maintain the authenticity, but to what extent? Because everybody who's sitting inside this room probably really, really appreciates the authenticity of the flavors that we had when we were kids. But now just imagine of the kids of ours,
Great.
And
So you're saying not. It's
I
going to
don't
be.
think
yeah.
I don't think they associate that much of nostalgia with the padachini fish that we talked about, or the chenapodo that they talked about.
But shouldn't they know about it?
They must, but do they?
So that's the responsibility of the chefs.
I don't know if it's the responsibility of the parents, of the ecosystem.
Okay. Let's go to the gentleman at the back.
Yes, it is very much possible because Indian food is all about emotions. And it is like a legacy, it gets transferred.
Wonderful. Sir. Sorry, we have someone at the back there.
I think in the ever evolving world, authenticity will be the new novelty. Because a generation which would have grown up with a lot of fusion will look at authenticity as the new thing. And people are looking for novelty, and that's what they will be willing to pay a premium for, and not something that is crafted or created, rather something which is very original and from the roots.
Wonderful. Sir, he raised his hand. Right.
So I belong from Orissa.
Uh-huh.
So Pakhal Bhat is the water rice that normally we eat in during summers. So my father, his father have always taught him that. I think the authenticity and the traditional will remain till the time we educate our coming generation about the traditional that we have and we have carried forward since long.
So that's a big yes. What about you, sir?
Authenticity has always been maintained. I remember my grandma, she used to cook in a similar way, which has been learned by my mom, and my mom has taught me, and that is how it is following. And I am teaching my kids. So we have been using the very similar vessel which they have been using, and I think it is actually following down. So authenticity is happening now.
It's happening
Thank
more
you.
and more. So
More
it's
and more.
possible to
And
conserve
as he
each
rightly
of
said,
those.
I also belong to south of India, and it has been flowing down from fathers
All those
to sons.
1,000
and
cuisines, we have confidence that they will be there. and
Absolutely,
we'll do that.
absolutely. Agree.
Wonderful, sir. Thank you.
Thank you,
You've
thank
been
you.
a wonderful audience. Thank you. A big round of applause for you guys. So whether you're team progressive or team conservative, my wish for all of you is that may your food always have soul. Thank you to our panelists here. Big round of applause for them. Thank you, chefs, for being here and sharing your views. Thank you.